It's like 2 a.m. here in China. So I'm on my way home. I thought it might be interesting to show you um, some of the things that I noticed. So you can see there is this footbridge, or some kind of overpass where foot traffic is supposed to go through. So this thing has been left as if since I left the for the holiday, for the lunar holiday, the Lunar New Year holiday. Right? So it's been stuck like that forever. I haven't seen any progress on this bridge since I got back. They were welding previously, but they no longer are. There used to be like these ginormous trucks that would come over and bring over these components. So it looks like that's how these things are constructed nowadays. They're made in factories, and then they would just bring them on and then kind of assemble here. All they need to do is just a bit of welding. And there's this one thing that I find quite hard to understand. You can see there's a huge machine over there with a floodlight over there. So this place is supposed to be constructing a new subway station. The subway is actually there already, except that the station is kind of like puny. But yeah, so this has been sitting here. I mean, this machine can't be cheap, right? And it's been sitting here for like 3-4 months now. That's quite expensive, I would imagine, in terms of like cost of capital. Yeah, so that's that. And there's still some construction going on. Just waiting for the light. Can't go over yet. Best thing to catch China rebound. Well, it's too early to think about a rebound, I think. One should really be conserving capital still. You can kind of ease in, but first thing to remember is something that won't go bankrupt. There are quite many things that will go bankrupt in China. China Southern Airlines, which is a huge company. I think it is probably the largest in Asia in terms of size, or maybe like number of passengers carried. But they just ran into liquidity issues. Hainan Airlines, which is expanded like crazy through debt. They used to hold they had like $1 trillion in assets. I mean, most of that is funded by debt. And that thing just went bust. It's taken over by different parts of China. Some of that is taken over by the government, some taken over by other airlines. I mean, now even other airlines are running into issues. So I think it's still too early to catch the rebound. But obviously there's been a shit ton of money that's printed recently. And Chinese stock market has completely recovered its loss for the actual from the initial shock. I still do think there's a bit of complacency, but I'm not entirely sure. And on top of that, like think about 2008, right? We had 4 trillion injection of like investments, new investment. When this time, the talk is that they're gonna do 11 trillion, but obviously the size of Chinese economy is quite a bit bigger than it was in 2008. So I don't know what are gonna invest in. We can't build. I mean, we can, but we shouldn't really build more roads into nowhere, because that's what happened in 2008. These were roads to nowhere, to like part of Tibet, or like people just won't live there. Doesn't matter if you build a road there, they will go there for tourism, but you know, overall it's gonna be a loss-making investment. So this time I don't know what we're gonna invest in. Maybe China will invest in 5G infrastructure, more data centers. That might be something that's useful. I don't know, but more roads. I mean, Chinese roads are fairly good already. It's better than what we have in California. I mean, if you just look at the road here, I mean, isn't the best maintained road in Shanghai, but it's fairly flat. It's better than it's better than El Camino Real that you find in the middle of the peninsula. Right, so no potholes that you can see. I mean, they're still building this thing. I'm not entirely sure what they're building, but they made a lot of progress before the new year, like visibly, and now I haven't seen anyone working on it since I came back. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for the red light. Isn't anything interesting. Even in Shanghai, 2 a.m. it's quite empty. I mean, there was a period in Hangzhou where I was born that were even congested up to like 12 p.m. So like congested, not just moderately heavy traffic, congested. This place, I mean, you see a single car, but it's 2 a.m. So what the hell do you expect? Even in Hangzhou back then, in 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., you have basically empty streets. Anything past 4, you start getting traffic. Okay, so I don't actually always go home at 2. Today I kind of just procrastinated a little bit. Usually I leave the office at like 11ish. And today, well, this is not investment related, so if you're in for this, just you can feel free to leave. We had some interviews of new employees. We needed a front-end engineer, a senior one at that, and the guy. We had like 3 guys in a row. We had a really good one, but then the 3 after that were like, one of them don't know how to write a 2-string on a linked list. And the other one essentially just copied code during that interview. The reason we know that is that she pasted in the code, and then at the end of that code there was like copyright reserved, like copied from this website. I'm like, what the fuck? And then the third one essentially couldn't write 2-string again on a linked list, a singly linked list. So I'm like, it's kind of painful. It just it pains me to be called software engineer along with these people. But yeah, a lot of people getting laid off, even in tech. But we'll see those effects, because at the moment, I mean, there's a lot of them still have savings, so we'll see. Anyway, so this is a night. Some of that is wasted energy, but yeah, that's it. See you tomorrow. Oh, actually, before I go, I intended to do a deeper analysis on Surgutneftegas for like a year now. I still haven't done it. Right, so I haven't forgot. I was just lazy. So yeah, bye.